Welcome to the Neuropreneur Rising podcast. I'm your host, Polly Pollock, and I'm a marketing coach for neurodivergent, creative, and chaotic online business owners. I'm here to show you how to grow a sustainable, profitable business with marketing that doesn't rely on social media algorithms, hustle culture, or squeezing yourself into a rigid box that just does not fit your spicy brain. I've been in the marketing world for nearly a decade, and I've seen firsthand with myself and with hundreds of business owners what works and what doesn't for people like us, which is why I'm here to show you that you do not have to dim your unique brilliance to be wildly successful in business. So if you're ready for more peace, more profit, and a life-first business that feels like you, then strap in because we're just getting started. Hey, welcome back. So today I am on audio only, as you'll probably notice. There's no video, I'm not in the studio. I am just chilling and in my comfies, and I'm in the van because I'm a van lifer. Do you know what? I really don't like the phrase van lifer. The more I'm like living in the van and traveling and stuff, I really don't like, I don't know why, but the name van lifer, it's just, I don't know. It's just like, I just don't like being tied down into a community. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, I just don't like branding myself, like brandishing. Oh, you know what I mean? I don't know. Stupid. But anyway, I'm here, because I am going on holiday on the weekend, and I needed to record an extra episode, which means I wasn't in the studio because that would be too much for me. And yeah, twice a week in the studio is not gonna work on my schedule. So I am literally just here. I kind of miss doing voice recordings. I'm not gonna lie, like voice audio only podcasts. I feel like I can just be so much more fluid when I'm off camera, and that's something that it's like a personal kind of challenge, so that I can kind of master that. So I actually said to my podcast studio guy this morning, I was like, so when I'm next in the studio, can we do something else with the setup? Like, I'm gonna bring like blankets, I'm gonna like, can we dim the lighting a bit? Can we get rid of the table? Can we make it like really cozy? I bet he's just like, this fucking bitch, oh my god, she's so annoying. but no, he's probably not. No, yeah, but that's my plan. So anyway, enough of my rambling. I am going to be it's more of an off the cuff episode today. I am recording this as I kind of don't know what I'm going to be titling it, but I know exactly what I want to be talking about. So what we're going into today is kind of this really common feeling that honestly I think every ADHD entrepreneur, business owner kind of has, and that's the feeling of literally wanting everything done yesterday in business. And this pressure that we hold on ourselves to have instant results in some kind of way, shape or form. And we are constantly kind of thinking that we're behind, or that we are not doing something that we should. And I feel like that is such a common thing for ADHDers. Like, pretty much even as you get more experienced in business, it still happens in some way. So it's interesting because it happens at all levels, but it's something that we really struggle with. And I think, when you're at the more beginning or foundational stages of business, which is, the majority of people that I coach, there's this feeling of, you obviously you want that consistent like client intake. You want to ideally have like a waitlist or whatever your thing is. Just, you want everything running smoothly. And I feel like the assumption with so many people at this level is like, okay, if I just graft now, if I just put the work in now, I'll arrive at a place where I can take the foot off the gas, like my foot off the gas, sorry. But that's not really what happens in business. And I think that mentality, especially when we are so busy in our brains as neurodivergent. Sorry, that was my phone in the background. This is such an off the cuff episode. I'm like, phones dinging. This is so unlike my normal episodes. But I feel like that kind of mentality, along with a busy brain and an ADHD brain, of like, okay, I'm always behind. There's this place that I need to arrive at. I need to put the work in now to achieve X, Y, and Z. I need to be productive because I'm worried that I'm going to fall off. Like, it's all just a recipe for burnout if we don't find the balance, because there's so many things about being a business owner and having ADHD that makes you the best at what you do and like makes you incredibly able to succeed, but it's a blessing, but it's a curse. And if you don't know how to grasp it and harness it, as cringe as that sounds, that's really what it comes down to. it's it makes it really easy for that same thing to almost destroy you in a way. Like, it sounds dramatic, but it's the very thing that's going to burn you out, you know? So really learning how to grasp that is so important. And the truth is as well, and I really had to learn this the hard way, is you never really get to the destination, and it's almost like a con that you do. And I think I kind of grew up, not like grew up, but when I got like my first job, in my first ever job, you know, pretty much at 16 was sales. So I was really, from such a young age, always an entrepreneur, and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I learned so much at such a young age about things like sales, marketing, and I ended up reading a lot of kind of millionaire mindset, money mindset books, and you know, Think and Grow three fuck a fucking what, Jesus, my words just like went away with me there. Think and Grow Rich, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, those kind of books. Jesus Christ. um you know, and really trying to think like, you know, millionaires think and everything like that. And a lot of that is based around, okay, build a business that you can eventually like sell and then reap the rewards of, or build a business where you can hire a bunch of people and then like be hands off. And that was kind of the norm of like that was at the time, at least in the spaces that I was surrounding myself in. And I was in the sales world, and that, you know, it was all weird. I wasn't, you know, that was when I was employed, but still, that was the goal for the majority. And so I guess that's what breeds this mentality of like, okay, I'll work hard and then I'll be hands off, or like I'll work hard and then I'll like arrive at the destination. And it just doesn't work like that anyway, because like even like billionaires, I mean, Elon Musk, the dickhead sleeps in his office. Like, he literally doesn't have a life. So for me, I'm just, I don't want that anyway. But you know, that kind of trails in. That's one of those like solidified thoughts that a lot of us have, that trails into our own business. Like, oh yeah, I'll just work really hard and then it'll pay off because I won't have to keep putting the effort in. So kind of dialing that down to a micro sense here in like our focus is, okay, when I get consistent clients in my coaching or service business, I'll you know, that'll be it, you know, that'll be the destination. And it's not. It's not. Haha. Yeah, no, it's really not. I really thought it would be, and then I was like, oh, another thing, oh, another thing, oh wait, there's another thing. Oh good. So yeah, it's not like that at all, and I'm glad it's not, because that would be really boring. Believe me, you'd get unfulfilled as an ADHDer with like a busy and creative brain. The thing that I've learned, when I could just get my shit out of the way, is actually, I don't want there to be no challenges, because the challenges are what keeps me going. And I know that I get very complacent when I don't, is that the right word? I don't know. You know, I get really twitchy when there's not some kind of challenge, because I enjoy, that's my drive. But it's different to like the nervous system shattering mess of like your whole business being a challenge, which is honestly what it felt like for me at one point at the very beginning. So yeah, there's never really an end destination. So really just having that mindset shift of, I really just wish someone had told me that, and I probably would have been like, oh, thanks, I feel so much better. And that's why I think like in my episodes and trainings and whatever I do, I just like to give a bit of real talk, because honestly that's all I needed when I started my like first online business, and I kind of wish I had gotten that. But yeah, this kind of experience, especially as ADHDers, of, you know, needing to get to this destination and needing to get to a certain point, and everything before that is just not good enough, is bullshit. And our minds are kind of wired for that by default. And this is where my opinion on having ADHD kind of differs, or I like to make it clear what my stance is like, just because we are wired for things, it doesn't mean that we can't change them. That's just our default setting. Yeah, so like our default setting is to be potentially easily overwhelmed. Some of us are and some of us aren't. There are plenty of ADHDers that I know who are like, give a fuck. I'm fine. So, but whether it's like, okay, let's take rejection sensitivity as another thing. You're very sensitive to rejection. You're primed for that. That's how your brain and your nervous system as an ADHD is primed for that. But that doesn't mean that you have to let that be your identity. You can still change something that is your factory setting. You know what I mean? Is your default setting. But anyway, that's my stance. But with the ADHD kind of emotional experience of all of this, as I said before, there's this tendency to feel like you're behind, or the constant feeling of just like not being ahead enough, and this comparison as well. And this is where, like, I've said in the past, I'm not anti social media, but I do think it is responsible for a lot of the world's problems, the problems with stress levels with people and online business owners. I think it's not necessarily social media. I think it's the use and excessive use of social media that causes that. But that really doesn't help us when we are caught in these like comparison traps all the time, where it's like, oh, especially in business. I mean, this used to eat me alive, guys. I'm not even joking. It used to really, really fuck with my head, because I used to just constantly think like, and I couldn't fathom that, oh, this person has 10 more years experience than me. Even if they didn't, like, you shouldn't compare yourself anyway, but it's like, oh yeah, I should be where that person is, even though they've been in business since I wasn't even born. It's like, fuck. It's so weird. And what normally starts off as, I'm really inspired by this person, can so easily for us turn into, I need to be exactly like this person, and I need to achieve what they've achieved, even if you don't actually want it. And that's another thing, in my kind of years of being an entrepreneur, there's been so many things that I have said, okay, I'm going to strive for that. And then when I pull it back and I built like a level of self-trust and self-love in a way, I was like, why was I aiming for that? Because that's not actually what I want. Not in terms of like a financial figure, just like I used to think, okay, yeah, I need to really prep for the future of like me running a team and, doing X, Y, and Z, and like scaling my business to make it like a company of like this size. And then I'm like, no, it's not that I don't want the money, but I can find a way to make the same profit and not hemorrhage money and not spend my life, doing shit that I don't want to do and still be in my work, and I'm good. But yeah, that comparison trap is really, really dangerous. And so what I see with a lot of ADHD business owners, my students and just people that I kind of talk to, is that there's this emotional pressure that kind of gets created, and this overworking fix it mentality kicks in when we feel this really, really heavy pressure of almost fear that you're going to miss out, or fear that you're not moving quick enough, or fear that if you just take a break, you're not being productive. And this is when this kind of stuff hits. So it's like the rebrands, quote unquote. The amount of time I've heard, I've heard the word rebrand come in from people who are in the beginning of stages of their business, and they haven't actually got a reputation or a brand, and they're like, oh, I'm just doing a rebrand. And it's like, no, it's a distraction. I used to do it. Like, trust me. Not everything I say on these podcasts as well, I'm never judging you guys. I'm never judging you. I'm only speaking from experience, because I've done all of the things that you struggle with right now, and I get it. I so get it. But it's when like the rebrands, like the redoing sales pages, email sequences, you need to redo it. Strategy changes, what, oh God, I'm changing my strategy. That's another one. It's like, we're so primed for it. Again, it's like you don't let things bake in long enough for you to actually see if A, the results are coming in, and B, whether you enjoy it. And as I said, like, there's all these other pressures in the online business world that we deal with today in 2026. Did it again. In 2026. This is the expectations we're dealing with in the online business world. it's like gone are the I feel like gone are the days of a normal fucking business. That, I mean, not that like not that we strive to be quote unquote normal. I mean, if you're listening to this, you're probably like me and you're probably weird as fuck. um you probably break out into song like 700 times a day. Like, but I feel like um gone are the days of just like a normal business to an extent, because it feels like everything is built on viral posts and this expectation to have overnight success, or like, oh, I'm going to post this one piece of content and it's going to be bringing me clients, knocking at my door and stuff like that. And it's this belief that things are always meant to happen quickly. Don't get me wrong, the beautiful part of all of this is when you have a grounded view on business takes time. The beautiful part is you get to enjoy when those things do happen quickly. Like, it's awesome when a person messages you or emails you saying, hey, I've just found you, I'm fucking ready, they're a fast lane buyer, like, they're like, I'm ready to go all in, I'm ready to work with you. And it's great, it's awesome, it's really an amazing feeling. But that's not the majority. That's not the majority, especially when you're first starting out. That's not going to be normal. So when you have a grounded view on it, you can build for that, and you can have more results and more success when you build for that. But you also get to enjoy it when those more off the cuff things do happen. But anyway, there's this fundamental mismatch that we are seeing between this kind of, okay, everything should happen as an overnight success mentality, between that and the reality of how long things actually take in business, how long that it normally takes for you to get a full client roster, and also the amount of effort that it actually takes. That I actually spoke about this in last week's episode. It would be, I think, wait, would it be? Hang on. Because I'm recording this like off the cuff and in advance, everything's all freaking haywire. So I'm pretty sure it was, I don't know. It's one of the most recent 2 episodes that I did, and it's the one about sales. And I said this in that episode of like, effort is not a bad thing, and I feel like that's really the crux of like sustainable sales these days in 2026 and beyond, is creating trust and creating that consistency with sales through effort, through service, through care, and through heart. And that's really at the crux of it, like at the core of it. And if you want, like I said in that episode, if you want my honest opinion, people aren't willing to do that, and as much as they used to be, because of this kind of online business world of like passive income, and like stop trading your time for money, and like all of these sayings that, if you've been in this world for a hot minute and you've been anywhere near Instagram in that time, you know what I'm talking about. And that's just not how things are going to be going in like the next few years and beyond. It's not. That shit has peaked, and it is now falling. and rightly so. It's my opinion that when you're first building a brand or a business, when you're in that initial stage of building and making a name for yourself and getting consistent clients in, you should be putting in that effort. And I think, like, I look back on my own journey and I think, what a fucking boring first couple of years that would have been to business if I didn't have to put in that effort, like, and the truth of it, yeah, you have to anyway, but really going forward, where people are definitely more choosy with who they buy from, when we're seeing more business owners online than ever before, you are going to need to show that you are the one to be trusted. That's the truth. That is the bottom line, and I'll die on that hill. Alright guys, quick pause here because I want to personally invite you to the Procrastination Station, which is our free weekly community coaching sessions that I run every single week personally, specifically for neurodivergent online business owners who want to get visible and start marketing without the weight of social media. And look, I know you do not need yet another freaking PDF to just download and forget about, or checklist or tool that you're just going to forget about in 5 minutes. And with brains like ours, what we actually need is to experience things live with real support in real time. And that's exactly why I created these weekly sessions. The procrastination station is all about getting you out of the quote unquote, I wish I could market without social media mindset, and getting you moving forward in a way that fits you, your capacity, your energy, your creativity, your life. Every week has a slightly different theme, and you'll get real-time personalized coaching from me, someone who works specifically with neurospicy brains. You can bring the marketing tasks or questions you've been stuck on, get personalized feedback, or if you're not even sure where to start, do not worry, I will be right there to prompt, guide, and teach you. I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can join us every week, absolutely free, and I really hope to see you there. All right, let's get back to it. But anyway, getting back kind of to my main point, it takes time. And business, if you are in this for the short term, like this probably isn't gonna apply to you, but like I don't know anyone who's in this game for the short term. Everybody I work with is like, no, this is my calling, this is my mission, or this is what I really want to do. Whether that's like a deeper mission, maybe you're like a coach, and you're like, no, this work is my life, it's my calling. Or whether you're kind of a service provider who is, like, yeah, I love what I do, but I want the time freedom, I want the income freedom. Whatever your why is, you're in this for the long term. And the truth about being in it for the long term is that it requires you to have patience. Even if you, because this is the other thing, even if you do have, you peak early, or you have kind of a bout of luck, or you're working with strategies or systems or ways of going about marketing and business that will allow you to have quick results for a short amount of time, you're just building on essentially a foundation that is destined to collapse. So all of this takes time. It does. And yeah, that's, I always say, like, I'm not gonna tell you like potentially the most like sexy and Instagrammable stuff, but I'm gonna tell you the fucking truth. And I'm here to help you build something for the long term, so that you can have a fairly, like, as anxiety free business and life as possible. I mean, nothing's ever stress free and anxiety free. We need certain amounts of stresses, it's just normal. But that's what I care about. I'm not here to feed you a bunch of fucking horse shit. I'm really not. I'm so over it. But yeah, my stance on all of this if you've listened to like any of my previous episodes. So I really do care about helping you build for the long run, but it takes patience. It takes a level of almost like maturity in business that honestly I did not used to have, and I just had to learn my way into that maturity of, yeah, just accepting that, okay, you put the work in, but this is going to take some time, and that's just the bottom line. How can we make it work? But this is what I see in people a lot, is they try something for a short period, they don't see the results, quote unquote, quick enough, and then they, like, as in the first 2 weeks, month, and then they pivot their strategy, almost get like pissed off, and then they just repeat the cycle instead of like staying consistent for long enough. And by consistent, I mean trying one thing and sticking to that for a long enough amount of time. How you go about that, like, my view on consistency is not you have to show up the same every day in your marketing. Like, that's not the way that I work with people whatsoever. But yeah, people jump ship very, very easily. And again, I used to do it. Like, I used to do that as well. And I used to get so pissed off, like, oh, this isn't fucking working. But it was genuinely because I had absorbed so much information online about, like, I posted this and then I got a flood of clients, and I'm like, well, what the fuck's going on with my stuff then? What's wrong with me? And then I just realized it was all lies. Like, it was all lies. And or lack of context. It's just wild. So just like unindoctrinate yourself. I promise you, it will be the best thing you ever fucking do. Be very choosy with your sources. Yeah, best piece of advice I could probably give you. But the other thing is, I remember when I first started, I had these expectations of myself, almost, of, okay, I need to get to this place by year 1, this place by year 2, this place by year 3, this place by year 4, and go on and on and on. And if I didn't hit those goals, I would be like, I failed in my first, second, whatever year of business. And I really felt like I had failed. But and again, I wish someone had actually just told me, like, no, like, business isn't linear. Like, it totally depends on what kind of business that you have. It totally depends on how much honestly, how much time you are putting into your business in that first few years. Because if you work a part-time or full-time job, it's going to require more time, unless you're going to work 20 fucking hour days, which I would not recommend because you will burn out. It's going to take a little bit more time. Be a little bit more or it might not. Like again, business is not linear, and anything can happen. But when we're looking at a general kind of outlook on this, it's not linear. Like, we have so many variables, and I wish I had just like known that earlier. And honestly, the first like 2 to 3 years of business, at least, are really not linear. Like, you are figuring things out, you're learning what works for you, you're refining everything. And even if you do have a coach in all of that time, yes, that's going to, if you have the right coach or mentor or whatever, that is going to help you grow quicker, for sure. But there's still a bunch of stuff that you're going to be personally working out, whether that's to do with your business or you personally. There's going to be a lot of stuff that only you will be able to feel and like almost move through. And I think also one of the best things that you can do for like the way that you feel in your business and the way that you treat yourself in business is realizing that you can't control most of what happens as the result, like in terms of results in your business. Like, you can't control it. Like, you can't force things to happen. You are in charge of the effort that you put in to make those things happen, which, yes, will very likely determine the outcome, but you can't control every aspect of your business. There are variables, so that's not me saying like everything's out of your control. Of course there are things in your business you can control, but it's more you can control your output, and that the likelihood of you getting input from certain things is high or low, but you can't control every single aspect of your business. And trying to control everything in your business leads to, honestly, more stress, less action taking, because you're trying to outthink every fucking thing that you can, and probably worse results, honestly. Again, I've ridden that horse. I know exactly how it goes. Oh my god, my American people are probably like, "Will you stop doing that fucking American accent? It's terrible, Polly." It's hilarious. So yeah, just reminding yourself in that sense, just like slow down. You don't have to control everything, and once you realize like, oh, okay, this is normal, other people go through X, Y, and Z too. I don't have to be in control all of the time. It's hard. I believe me, no one no one has struggled more than me on this. I really do get it. I'm fairly I'm like, I'm a free spirit, you know what I mean? I'm fairly hippy dippy. I'm not like, balls to the walls hippie, but I I am fairly a free spirit. I live in a van, like I said, like, I'm that kind of way, but I need stability. It's just something that I need, especially when you are your own, almost like your own home, in terms of you're a business owner. You pay your wage. Like, you don't have someone paying your wage. um I'm just that type of way, that I need stability, and I have always been like that, and I will always need that element of stability. So believe me, I get it. I get that need to want to control, or feel like you have to control everything in your business. But the more control you have over yourself, your inner world, and your actions, that is the thing to focus on in terms of control, not the minute, tiny little granular things in business, as such. But the operative word here is control, and not like action. I'm not saying don't take action on things. I'm not saying don't strive for things. I'm not saying don't try and make things happen. I'm just saying it's that word of control and force, And I have this I just to give you some context, maybe you relate to this. I have this inner experience of, if you've done any work on IFS, which is internal family systems, I think it's that, yeah. you'll know about parts. So we all have parts in our brain and in our system, and that often stems from kind of inner child, and the parts that show up in you now is like, one part might be your 5-year-old self, one part might be your 12-year-old self, one part might be your teenage self, that kind of thing. And I have this part who I honestly can only compare her to the Queen of Wands in the tarot. If you've ever like had a tarot reading, or if you do, I know a lot of you guys, you kind of play around with tarot cards and oracle cards and stuff and do your own readings. Well, many people I've spoken to anyway who are listeners of this podcast. But it's she's the Queen of Wands. She does not give a fuck. Like, she will just want everything done now. She's like, nothing else matters. She's like, yeah, no, we're gonna get it done. She pushes that urgency. She wants everything to be like uprooted and changed to fit the way that she wants it right then and there, even if it doesn't make logical sense. And I'm just like, okay, I hear you, but can you pipe the fuck down for a sec, please? Because that part is the reason I'm a business owner, and I have been able to, like, my success is very much because of that part. However, I wouldn't have my success if she was running the entire show. So, she's my drive, but she's also a brat. In a way, love this part of myself, but she can be a brat, So also what might, feel helpful to you is look at these things when they come up as, oh, that's that part that is coming up. How can I say to this part of myself that comes up in these times where I feel like I need to grip or control, or I feel like I need to be really productive and I'm just going to end up burning myself the fuck out? How can I say to this part, like, okay, what do you need right now? How can we channel what you need that's not going to uproot and potentially cause havoc in my business? I try and channel that into creativity a lot of the time. I know that part of me comes up when I have fairly low dopamine. I actually had a really recent experience with this a couple weeks ago, and that she honestly causes some self-sabotage sometimes as well. But when I have low dopamine, I know that she flares up and she's like, I'm bored. What's going on? Like, fucking hell. Like, she's my teenage self is exactly what she is. So I have to find ways where I know, like, no, there's nothing wrong with my business. There's nothing wrong with my relationships. I know what this is. I need to channel this into some fun. I'm not having enough fun. I know that she comes in when I'm not having enough fun. So anyway, what might be helpful is for you to kind of do the same thing if that feels, like something that is true to you. Even if it's not, maybe try it. So I hope that this was helpful. I know that it is a wild ride and a wild fucking experience being a business owner and honestly just a human with ADHD. I get it, and I know how sometimes it can feel like the online business world holds a lot of advice that none of it kind of appeals or applies to you, and everything that you try ends up you just feeling kind of worse off than you did before. I really do understand that, and that's exactly why I'm here. That's why I put these episodes out. That's why I do the work that I do. That's why my coaching is tailored around exactly that. Like, yes, of course I teach marketing. That is my thing. I will teach you how to market, get consistent clients, all of that stuff. But I also want to make sure that you can sustain that. It's about being able to follow through, being able to, fuck's sake, I just thought of, why am I so immature? I'm like in my flow, and as soon as I said follow through, I'm like, oh my God. Farts and shit. And why am I so immature? I'm so sorry. Anyway, being able to actually execute on the things that you know and you have in your head in a way that's not going to burn you out, being able to actually manage the ups and downs, all of that is in what I teach and how I coach you. So that is what I do, and that's exactly why I'm so passionate about it. We can't out strategy our way in business out of the experience of being an ADHD business owner. Strategy is needed. We need that structure, otherwise it would be a mess. Like, it would just be us. Oh my god, we need both. But we also need that self-understanding, and we also need to put provisions in place so that we can execute on all of this stuff, see the results, but also feel good doing it. Like, we don't want to feel constantly like shit in business. We don't want to get to a point where we are so out of control in our inner world that, you know, we are self-sabotaging all over the place, and you know, everything's kind of falling apart. So yeah, that's exactly how I support you. And if you are interested in support, come and join me as a student inside the Neuro-Friendly Sales Accelerator. We do just that. I teach you how to market, get visible, and sell your offer, your signature offer, on repeat without the weight of constant social media posting. And in a way that really feels fun and doable and enjoyable for you, with that internal support there as well. So until next week, I will leave the links to everything I have mentioned in the description, so go and check it out. And I will see you next time. And that will be after my holiday as well. I'm going to be so tanned. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun. All right, see you soon. Alright guys, that is a wrap for today, and if you loved this episode, I would be so grateful if you could leave a review and maybe even share it with a business buddy who you think would really get something from it too. It really does make a huge difference. The more reviews and shares, etc., that this podcast gets, the more it gets pushed out to other creative, brilliant, neurospicy business owners who really need to hear this stuff. And honestly, I just want more people like you to know that success does not have to look the way that we've been told it does. So the more you help me get this into the right hands, the better. And if you're ready to take things a step further and get some real support, just head to the description and you'll find the link to the Neuro-Friendly Sales Accelerator, which is my 4-month signature marketing coaching program for neurodivergent entrepreneurs. From there, you'll be able to book a free strategy call with me. We'll have a chat to see where you are and see if it's the right fit, and we will go from there. All right, see you in the next one.